arbitration. We've talked about arbitration in the past, but this is a hot issue in the United States Supreme Court. They keep deciding questions of whether or not arbitration clauses are enforceable or not. And business owners really need to consider whether they want to have in their agreements arbitration as the place where disputes get decided, or whether they want to have them decided in court. So once again, I want you and Jeffrey, Rick, to be the judge and decide this case.
So this isn't a unanimous one like the last.
Well, I'm not going to tell you
I love when
until
I'm debating Rick.
I mean,
All right.
you guys are the judges, okay? So Congress passed this law called the Credit Repair Organization Act. And what it basically does is, you know, there are these people soliciting consumers. They'll help you repair your credit if you have a bad credit rating. And so Congress regulates it and prohibits certain types of deception by these organizations so that they don't take advantage of consumers. So CompuCredit, which is one of these companies, had a provision in their agreement with their consumers that hired them that all disputes had to be decided in arbitration. We've dealt with this issue in the past, and the Supreme Court has considered whether this Federal Arbitration Act, which says that arbitration clauses are enforceable, is okay under this particular Credit Repair Organization Act, because there's a strong federal policy that favors arbitration. So in this case, the Supreme Court's deciding whether the Credit Repair Organizations Act prohibits an arbitration clause or not. And so in order to consider it, it looked at the question of what was the specific language in the statute. That would be the starting point. So one of the things that the statute required was a disclosure form that every consumer receive. And in the disclosure form referred to the ability of the consumer to bring an action in court. And let me just say, by way of background, that a lower court, here's what the disclosure says. Let me start there. Quote, you have a right to sue a credit repair organization that violates the Credit Repair Organization Act. That's one of the sentences of the law. Here's another one. Any waiver by any consumer of any protection provided by or any right of the consumer under this act is void and may not be enforced by any federal, state, any federal or state court or any other person. So the question was, where the act talks about the right to sue, whether or not an arbitration clause in a consumer agreement is enforceable or not. So let me turn it over to the hosts, Rick and Jeffrey. What do you think?